Hello, orchid addicts of all various colors and shapes, and welcome to the Lion's Garden. And in this day's video, we have a very exciting project coming up. We are going to mount some orchids. And before I start, a couple of notes. This video is partially a shout out for Hannah and Jennifer. Cheers, my ladies. And also, this is a bit of a plant therapy session for me because today is an utterly horrible day for me. This ranks in, the top 10 worst days of my life. And shortly speaking, вчера крыша съехала, так случается, я уже привык к этому. Юноши, в общем, это глупые твари. Но да, это ничего особое, я так думаю, по большому счету. Так что да. And the things that are going to happen today. First off, you can see a whole range of orchids. Excuse me for the mess in the background. In an active, garden, there's always a bit of a mess persistent. And the first step is to unport these orchids and free them from a substrate. And we have a very intriguing situation going on. So here are my two white virused Phalaenopsis. This is the big white original Phalaenopsis, amabilis type Phal. And as you can see, it's producing a very gorgeous flower spike. I've been bragging for a very long time that this orchid is going to be thrown out. So but on the condition that it finishes blooming. So as long as it presents me with some marvelous blooms, I'm willing to give it a shot so it can show us what it has. If it's a fighter, then surely go ahead. So we're gonna have to import it to get rid of some of the roots, but as you can see, it has plenty of aerial roots. So for mounting, that will work. Here's my Phalaenopsis amabilis. I know I have not uploaded the video yet, but I already crossed it with Phalaenopsis violacea. It had two blooms pollinated. That video is a legit bugger for me to make because it had, quite severe sound glitches going on. And surely that's simply a sign to, tell to you that it ain't gonna work, but I'm still gonna upload it because it's quite a humorous video. As you can see, this file is also severely virused, and that's the only reason I'm going to mount it. And when I'm going to mount it, it's more or less, dead-end experiment, because first off, I'm going to see how the orchids fare, and second off, this mounting is going to be a type of a goodbye for these virused orchids. I'm not going to rescue them. They are going to sit there on the tree until the frosts come, and I'm going to see how they manage to survive as a learning experience. I'm going to observe all the pests working on them. I'm going to observe if they burn in the sunlight, how long they last, how happy they are, how fast they grow, and so on and so forth. Here is my Dendrobium Stardust Firebird, and as you can see, it's a proper manky orchid. It has multiple new growths, but its main problem is that its roots are mainly aerial, and Dendrobiums don't really like their roots drying up. And the leaves are also very peculiar. I suspect this might be a virus thing, because these are quite suspicious spots. So I'm going to import this orchid over the camera right now in a few minutes, and take all these new growths and plonk them on the tree. They should look nice. Maybe they will grow. As you can see, they are still in growth mode, so they should extend farther. If they, after the summer is done, they look promising, I might take them off and, put them back in pots, because I'll have to manage this orchid anyway, because look at it. It's an octopus or something. It even has a keiki. This orchid has a very notorious, strategy of creating many keikis from all the old flower spikes and stuff. But yeah, and this orchid is not you know, making me happier, let's just say that. And here is my beautiful yellow Cymbidium older division, which is a seedling division and has a lovely new growth coming on. I think it's going to be a very, you know, fun idea to mount it on a tree naturally and see what it does. And here's specifically for the mounting project purchased a Phalaenopsis equestris type orchid. Yeah, here you can see the original price tag and stuff, and it is in spikes, so we are going to be able to enjoy a lot of beautiful blooms coming up on the mount. And here's my Cycnoded Vine Delight. I was thinking about a long time whether I should port it up or mount it, but I figured out that when the frosts come, I'm going to unmount it and see how it fares. I don't expect it to be able to produce flowers because my Vine Delight produces flowers in November. But in any case, this is a very promising division. It's very healthy. I see no reason why I shouldn't mount it and simply see how it fares. And another thing I want to add to this video, so I wouldn't have to make a separate video, are my virus orchids, also together with the other Phalaenopsis, and these are a bunch of Cattleyas. I am getting rid of them, so this is an explanation for the curious people why there are less orchids in my collection. As you can see, these are proper wicked nasty spottings on the leaf, and this is my Laelia speciosa, which is simply giving up on life because it failed to produce roots. I have a bigger division, it's doing well. And this is my mini purple Cattleya, and these two are my Cerulean type walkeriana. I really wanted a Cerulean walkeriana. It's very, you know, it's a miniature which has a very beautiful bluish flower, very unique and apparently a very lovely fragrance, but I ain't gonna tolerate this in my collection. I don't want it to spread because this Phalaenopsis amabilis species is virus only because it's spread. So the tools, we have to go through the tools of the mounting. Well, first off, we have scissors and a lighter to, you know, remove the excess roots, so the mounting would be easier. And the lighter is necessary for sterilizing the scissors because obviously we're working with, you know, virus orchids. We can't contaminate the few over here, these three, which I actually want to keep, but these are, you know, deliberately set aside for the mounting. And also have some very sturdy garden shears for this fellow over here. So see you right back, you know, when I have unported all of these orchids. So alrighty then, here are all the orchids unported. The Phalaenopsis amabilis, very gorgeous roots, flexible. The sphagnum moss came off really easy. The big white Phalaenopsis, I cut off all the stem, half of the stem, and the pot was root bound, so I cut off most of the roots and we still have plenty to work with. Dendrobium Stardust Firebird Keikis looking splendid. The yellow Cymbidium starting some good new roots, it's gonna be okay. And the Cycnoded Vine Delight with its gorgeous roots, and the pink equestris type of hybrid looking good. So all of these are going to be mounted. Sorry for the mess, the garden grows like weed and the place is in active reconstruction, and there comes my beast. By the way, I found out that I have Rosa canina growing in my little garden over here. This is a new lot recently purchased. And over there is my new house, which sometime soon I'm going to give a tour of when it's going to be finished. So here's the lucky tree that I'm going to be mounting my orchids on. The virus orchids are going to be growing on this gorgeous branch. This lot had plenty of apple trees, but most of them got cut off. We decided to not keep them because they were old, and as you can see, this branch is absolutely gorgeous moss and lichens growing on it. And the orchids which are not virused are going to be growing in these niches over here, so the water that would trickle down them wouldn't get in contact with the virused orchids which are going to be here. It's a very simple strategy, honestly. So I'm going to have to wait for my camera woman, which is located in the greenhouse over there, and we can start. It's already getting quite late, but summer is here, so the days are long in the far north, so to say. And sorry that my voice is a bit strange right now. I am awfully tired, and I was also having a dentist appointment earlier today, so I'm a bit high on anesthesia, painkillers, coffee and cigarettes, so I'm a bit, you know, that kind of state right now. So yeah, alrighty then, we are ready to start. All of the orchids are already put in the respectable places where they grow. There are ones here, and let's go through some basics, I guess. So a dog. Chicky. Very angry wolf dog will be joining us today. He will bless this situation. So, okay. Make he wander around. So the strategy is basically to wrap along the roots along this stem of the apple tree in a way so that the roots stick firmly and preferably in the moss, and they are secure so that it wouldn't fall off because of wind and all that stuff. There will be a lot of ants coming around here, so they can possibly spread something to other plants. If they drink the sap, they will go to other orchids and drink their sap. So that includes a possibility of them exchanging some diseases. And also there's a situation that it's a bit dangerous because there are a couple of wild orchids growing around here too. So there's a bit of a dangerous situation of it spreading to them. So taking that into account, I'm making a bit of a reckless decision. But that's not very important, in my opinion. And an orchid fell off, of course. It's going to be here. So, okay, we are gonna start with the orchids over here. This is my light pink equestris, Phalaenopsis hybrid, and I'm just taking my shears and cutting off like a part of the floral via, and the goal is to secure the roots in a way that it actually looks presentable and the plant is fixed in its place properly. So that might include some breaking, and like this looks pretty neat to me. Yeah, this is going to be nice. So there's a bit of a pesky situation. This will be a bit tedious, so bear with me. So yeah, here's the first strip. Gonna tie it down to hold it in place, and then we can continue on. And the end of the string I will tie up to this loose end over here. Not too, firmly, but so it would hold nicely. Like this. This will be fine. So this doesn't probably need that much attention. I will cut off the string. Make sure it's like pretty long, so you would have adequate amounts. Like this will be nice. I'm going to try to not, overdo it, so it would still look nice. Something like this. And this looks pretty neat to me. Be nice to get a root in some kind of a nook. And as usual, I get the perfect length. I usually just feel what's right. Have success like that. Also, this looks very nice. And firm it up. And here we go. This is a mounted orchid. Looks quite nice. Okay. Let's move on to this one. Some big floral string. Okay, this Cycnoded Vine Delight is a bit difficult because we need to put it in a way so we don't break the roots, but the new growth also has like plenty of space to work with. How would it go better? A couple of roots are already broken. So how is this? This looks nice. No worries, it will branch. The priority, I guess, is to not lead to a situation where the orchid will rot. Okay, this will be good for now. And we will neaten it up, straighten it up. It's already flipping off. Don't you flip me off. Morality restored. Okay. My videos are usually pretty long, so don't be particularly surprised. If you find it like better, you can always skip to the end where I give the end results. So okay, this looks nice. Let's neaten it up surely. So it would be a happy little plant. And this looks fairly neat. This is degradable, floral wire. It doesn't hold forever. So if you're living in tropical places where you would actually usually do this kind of a shenanigan, this would be, you know, a sustainable method. But our ultimate question is to find a place where the orchid has enough moisture. This looks nice. Enough moisture to keep it hydrated, the roots mainly, so the tree covered in moss is the perfect solution for that. And also there needs to be a bit of a canopy up above so the plant wouldn't burn. There was one orchid grower, I think she was in Florida. I forgot her name, but she mounts plenty of phalaenopsis on palm trees, and as far as I observed, she receives plenty of burning. And also it's very important to not allow the water to run into the crowns and stay there. When you're mounting orchids outdoors and you have good temperatures, the water will evaporate, so it won't root the orchid so easily. But you can see already over here that the crown of this orchid is pretty upwards, so there's a possibility of some water staying there. But the leaves are small, so it can't, you know, accumulate the big puddle, so to say. It's very much a game of logics. You don't need to be a physics nerd to understand how these things work. Okay, so I'm taking my floral wire and we're moving over to here. Get a big enough piece. Of course, everything's falling out of my hand like usual. And we need to fix this orchid in a nice way. This root will go downwards, so this looks pretty neat. Nothing particularly hard. Okay. have pretty lazy camera people. They're not used to holding the camera for half an hour in a row like I am. Can't blame them. This is pretty loose, but will work. So under the tree will go and fix it up good. This will work. This is not a good thing which just happened, but it is correctable. So like this, I think we will tackle the problem. Hold it by its new growth. Something like this. I think generally speaking we need to wrap it. So yeah, this is pretty nice. Bit pesky, yes. But it's well worth the effort because the display is going to be gorgeous. Okay, like this. Looks precious. Okay, moving on to some of the bigger fellows. Okay. So now moving on to the Phalaenopsis orchids. Now these will be real buggers. They have plenty of roots and they have a lot of weight. So you need to fix them in their place pretty sturdy. This is my large white Phalaenopsis. It will be nice that you know, the sun rises from there and sets there, so the flowers and all that stuff will go in that direction. So the equestris is already pointing in that direction, which is a good thing. And the spike is already going to, you know, be pointing away from me, and that's a good thing. Now, how to start this monster? Pretty tedious, but nothing special, honestly. Okay, this is the start. It's really nice to live here where I live because there's quite a peaceful atmosphere. It's right outside the city, so it's not that far. It's good to live next to a forest. Okay. Now the goal is... yeah, this will be pretty nice because the crown will be able to get rid of the excess water. Free up the roots so they wouldn't be tangled. Don't be afraid if your Phalaenopsis roots are broken a bit, because Phalaenopsis don't mind that much, seemingly, compared to Cattleyas at least. Good thing I got such a large piece of string. It's a bit of a challenge to make it stand in its place firmly also. It's a bit wonky. Yeah, this is a bit of a task. so this will have to be tied down. Oh, this doesn't look that bad. We're going to probably need a second piece of string. But there are a couple of new roots growing on this big monster, so it will be okay. The main goal is to not fix it in such a way so it can slip off. Of course, when you have such a big and rootful orchid, it's a pretty hard task to achieve that. Okay, another piece of wire to fix it in. When it will get attached, I will remove the wire, if it gets attached, of course. So yeah, how do we fix this in its place? Also, here's a broken off old branch, we can tie it by here. It's nothing very complex, just hold it in its place. When the roots set in, it's going to be lovely jubbly. Something like this will work well. This looks fine. Probably have to make sure to add some good music to this, so you wouldn't be too bored. And now to finish it up. And like this will be fine. So, okay, I'm gonna finish tying these orchids down so you wouldn't have to look through every single step. I think you got the general gist of it. So I'm gonna be right back to show off what's in the end, what we have in the end. So yeah. So here we have it, just under the tree and with a beautiful sight. Mosquitoes are already trying to eat me alive. So yeah, this is a very wonderful day I've actually made myself to have in the face of all the obstacles that are always going through my existence. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, favorite and share as always to show me how much you appreciate this kind of video and want to see more of this in the future. So of course I'm going to be giving you updates on these mounted orchids. How are they growing, how are they suffering, and how are they blooming. So stay tuned for that, and as always, cheers friends.